It's like screaming fire in a theater. Boom, shaka, laka, boom. You've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards, and I'm going to be petty this morning, and we're going to discuss some Facebook drama here in the first segment. But first, the Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. Another beautiful morning out here in central Mississippi as the storm approaches. You know what, I'm going to tell you, I consider myself a bit of a weather nerd. Like, I really get into following bad weather as it's approaching, and I have not been keeping up with this at all. My mom, for the first time, has been keeping up with an incoming storm more than I have. She's got my daughter so worked up, she don't know what to do. She came in the living room last night. She said, Nana's got me all worked up over this storm. She's like, how bad is it going to be? And I'm like, I honestly have not even sat down at the computer and looked at it. The only storm I've been paying attention to is Hurricane Chakwe and Hurricane Kamala, and them being dead set on destroying the capital city and the rest of America. They'll do more damage than any Katrina, Camille, Andrew, or any other big storm combined. You know, so that's the hurricanes I've been paying attention to, the natural disasters on my radar. So at some point in the show this morning, I do plan on taking a look into the impact zone and kind of what we can expect in this upcoming hurricane that's heading our way. So I know they're already starting to evacuate some areas. I got this one thing pulled up here, Mississippi Meemaw, my good internet friend. If y'all aren't following Mississippi Meemaw, y'all should on Facebook. She's a good one. She posted something from Fox 8 New Orleans, and it's got some of the it's got the impact zone here, which is, you know, South Mississippi, the better part of South Louisiana, and not just South Louisiana, dang near all the way up to about Brookhaven. But neither here nor there. They got some areas circled as they evacuate two areas, and Jackson is circled. Mobile is circled also, so they're not expecting it to go that far east as of right now. At least this was 14 hours ago. But hey, look, with all that said, it never hurts to have some extra bottled water. If you got a generator, get you some gas. Make sure your car's filled up with gas. And better safe than sorry, right? Better safe than sorry. I need to put a spark plug in my generator and get some gas and do the exact same thing. Nothing worse than not having internet. The last time a storm knocked my power out, it was hurricane. My ex-wife cut off the power when she moved out, and it just so happened a big storm came through. It's when Crossgates flooded, and I got stuck at the house stranded because the neighborhood was flooded and I couldn't get out. And my house was without power because Entergy wouldn't do a new power cut-on thing for 48 hours. So I had to drag my generator out, put it on the back porch, cranked it up, drug in an extension cord with a power strip, plugged in a fan, my internet router, a phone charger, and my laptop. And I somehow survived. And it was August, by the way. I somehow survived for a couple of days, but because of all the rain and the storms, it wasn't as miserably hot. It was still hot, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Finally, I put out an SOS on Facebook if anybody knew anybody at Entergy, and I got the whole thing expedited and got it cut on the next day instead of having to wait 48 hours. So never hurts to ask the internet if somebody can help. You never know who knows somebody. So let's jump in. Amber says it has moved way more east since last night. I will have to check on that. All right. Again, I was looking at a post from 14 hours ago. I want to talk about something. About 11 o'clock last night, I was getting ready to go to bed. Actually, I was making my video. If y'all aren't following me on YouTube, I've been posting a new video every morning, 5:30 a.m. Yeah, I record it. I wait till after the 10 o'clock news so I can get whatever I think is the most up-to-date news that you may have missed while you were asleep, or a story that I've been passionate about. Well, I've been on this Thalia Mara Hall thing, not because I care about Thalia Mara Hall per se, or the performing arts, not necessarily my cup of tea, but I respect it and I understand it. And I understand the great value that having a sustainable, functioning performing arts center brings Jackson. So I was filming a video about that, and we're going to talk about that on the show today too. But I got tagged in a post about a potential school shooting threat at Madison. Well, somebody tagged me in the post. It was local. I said, well, man, look, I didn't do a whole lot of investigating. I just shared the post. Said, hey, it looks like this kid. It was a screenshot of a kid making a threat online. I said, this kid's about to have a bad day when the police visit him is what I was suggesting. I set my phone down. About an hour later, it's getting close to midnight. I finished my video, got it all edited and everything, and I'm getting ready to go to bed, and I check my phone like most phone crack addicts do. And I see where people are really upset with me for sharing this post without somehow doing a full-on Google investigative search to make sure it was Madison, Mississippi. I'm sorry, that's not my initial reflex or instinct to make sure it's Madison, Mississippi when I get tagged in a post in such proximity to Madison, Mississippi. Just like if I get tagged in something that says Jackson, I'm not going to typically double check to see if it's Jackson, Mississippi. If it concerns you enough, or maybe not Jackson, Tennessee. I'm just thinking of another Jackson. If it concerns you enough, I've dropped you a breadcrumb. You can do the damn research, and you can decide if it's Madison, Mississippi. If you have kids there and it concerns you and you're worried about them. I was worried about them. That's why I shared the post. So I look in the comments, and people are accusing me of just sharing the post for clicks. Yeah, so I can get, one guy said, so I can get paid by Meta. First off, that ain't how this works. You don't get paid for clicks on Meta. You get paid for video views, and that's it. Unless somebody donates, I guess you can activate stars on the on photos, and the your followers can donate money if they so. You know, they like the post so much they can give you money. I definitely wouldn't have, and nobody's ever given me a penny for that either, by the way, and nor have I ever asked for it. So you don't make money on the post. You don't get, nothing comes from the clicks, so to say. But what really got me fired up, man, thinking about how much time and effort we spend talking about school shootings and protecting children. And we have fun on this show. We talk about a lot of sarcastic stuff, and, we like to have a good time. But one thing we don't joke about is school safety and children. If you've listened to the show for any amount of time, you know that. So all these online Karens, are mad that I won't take the post down. Chris Etheridge, a guy who is always inserting his opinions into my business, said it was like me screaming fire in a crowded movie theater. Again, I've got the post pulled up here. Y'all are welcome to go look at it on my Facebook page, and I'm not asking anybody to get on my side. I'm not trying to curry favor with anybody. I'm just venting a little bit here because I think this is stupid. I think people playing fake mad in the comments that I won't take the post down is stupid. Now, I have updated the post, and it says update. Apparently, it wasn't Madison, Mississippi, but I'm leaving the post up because of a couple Karens in the comments that believe I only shared the post for clicks. So I guess let me give a big old hefty screw y'all. I'm going to leave the post up. And I will always err on the side of safety and bringing attention to a potential deadly situation that can be avoided. Yeah, somehow, if I'm the bad guy for pointing out that a kid is possibly making a threat to shoot up a local school, I'll just be that bad guy. 'Cause I think you're the bad guy if you don't think I should post those things, even if you get it wrong every now and then. Again, nowhere in the post does it say Florida. Now, maybe you go next layer, Google search, something along those lines, you're able to find that. That's great. That's not what I was doing at 11 o'clock. I was putting something out there, and if you have a kid in the Madison School District and you want to peel that onion back, you're welcome to do it. It's called a lead. It's not a screaming fire in the movie theater, Chris Etheridge. It really fired me up this morning because it's one thing to argue and disagree. It's another thing to call my character into this, and to suggest that I would post something. I would knowingly post something that's fake. There's no upside to that at all. So I have no problem coming at y'all. You want your little moment? Well, you're going to get it this morning. You're going to get it. So I'm going to stroll through the comments here, and we're going to call a few people out. Paige McGee. Paige, you want to get snappy in the comments? Claudia Hemphill, suggesting that I just doing it for clicks. So several others as well. Those are the main ones that jump to mind. I want to question my credibility for posting this. Again, looks more like we dodged a bullet. Thank goodness it was Madison, Florida, not Madison, Mississippi. You idiots. Well, I tell you what, we're going to talk about some real stuff this morning. But at the end of the day, it is the Clay Edwards Show, and I get to vent about the things I want to sometimes. And the fact we're even having to argue with people over something so stupid that could have potentially been much worse. So instead of saying, not that I need any attaboys, but instead of saying, man, Clay, thank you, bro, we really dodged the bullet there. Luckily, that's not Madison, Mississippi. It's, Clay, you're just trying to get clicks by sharing that. I tell you what, I got thick skin. It takes a lot to get me fired up about stuff like this, but to suggest that I would ever dangle kids' safety in a situation so serious, especially when this country is going through what it's going through with school shootings and people trying to take guns and just all that in the aftermath of an immediate mass shooting at a school, to suggest I would do something like that goes against everything I stand for. Everything. All right. Palate cleansed. Let's take a break. When we come back, got a lot of other topics I want to hit that aren't necessarily personal direct attacks at anybody other than, I don't know, Chokwe Lumumba. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Hey, guys, with storms approaching, it's a good time to think about your roof. And if the storms are to spin up here, maybe we get any spin-off tornadoes, wind damage, anything like that, Watkins Construction and Roofing should be one of your first phone calls once once the dust is settled and your family's safe and the storms have moved on. Let them come out, do a complimentary roof inspection, make sure everything's good. If it's not, get the ball rolling on getting it fixed. That's Watkins Construction and Roofing. They're going to get you taken care of. Going to be very professional, very courteous. They specialize in working with your insurance company and making sure they get you every penny that you deserve to get your roof taken care of and, take full advantage of the insurance you pay for. And if you don't have insurance, of course, they're going to make sure you save as much money as you can, getting it done right. Whether it's just a spot that needs to be repaired, just a section of your roof or the whole roof, Watkins Construction and Roofing is going to come out and get it all taken care of. Check out their over 500 5-star reviews, over 600 5-star reviews now on Google alone, and just see what their customers are saying about them. Professional, courteous, timely, always in contact. Never left them in the dark having to wonder what was going on or where they were at in the process. That's WatkinsConstructionInc.com. Let them come out and get your complimentary roof inspection today. Locally owned, locally operated, but got all the resources of some of your biggest nationwide companies because of the volume they do. Good folks, man. Michael Deere and his team used to work in the same building with them all, and I know how they do business, and I know too many of them personally. They're good folks. Watkins Construction and Roofing. Hopefully you don't need them, but if you do, just remember Watkins Construction and Roofing. All right, so pulling up some stuff here during the break. I did have a text on the Guns and Gear text line. By the way, that number is 769-241-1944. I'll just say, hey, let them know your audience is worldwide. Maybe some of us actually live in Florida. True that. So, Darth Vader died yesterday. James Earl Jones, 93 years old. Man, I was more surprised that he was still alive than anything, but rest in peace, James Earl Jones. I've always been the guy that pulled for the bad guy in movies, but I think the further along with Star Wars, the more we realized Darth Vader was actually the good guy. Luke Skywalker is an evil person, probably a pedophile if I had to guess, allegedly, of course. I mean, in real life. So, yeah, I'm always more of a Darth Vader guy myself. Man, they've ruined Star Wars. Absolutely ruined it. And the longer Mark Hamill runs around acting like a neutered cuck, white guys for Kamala, the more I hate Star Wars, even more. Then Disney buys it and turns it into the LGBTQ DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion franchise that nobody watches anymore. But they just keep doing it. And it makes no sense to me what they've done to some of these big franchises in Hollywood. Yeah, but, turn them black. Turn them gay. That's what America wants. No, it's not. Don't turn anybody that. How about create a new character that maybe does that, if you're so insistent on it. Somebody said James Earl Jones is a Mississippian. Good stuff. We are our greatest export. We are definitely our greatest export. It's not cotton, it's not food, it's not anything that's manufactured here. It's us. Mississippians are our greatest export, and dang proud of it. Dang proud of it. Let's see here. I'm looking for my link that I had. Where did the link to the? Sometimes I tell you, man, these links disappear on WLBT. Here we go. This is Lumumba calling the arts community liars. Now, I did a video about this on my YouTube this morning, but it's worth talking about because I'm telling you, this is a bigger story than just Thalia Mara Hall. Because where are they spending the money? Where is the money going? I mean, these people destroy everything, and there's never any accountability for it. But I think the borrowing from Peter to pay Paul and moving around this and moving this around, it's like the pothole money. They got $700,000 last year. $100,000 for each ward to fix potholes. The money's still there, and the potholes didn't get fixed. Why is nobody doing anything? I was riding, I made a little, I put this on Instagram yesterday at SaveJXN on my Instagram, and I was going the back way from Brandon, from like 460, is that 468 over there where Van Sporting Goods is, and you kind of turn and you kind of come up through to Florence that way and back into Gunner Road, that road that runs up along Florence High School. Anyway, I needed to get to 49, just decided to go the back way from my house in downtown Brandon instead of I-20 to 49. Mistake, I'll never do that again, but that road really ain't in bad shape at all. And they were ripping it up and resurfacing that back road over there. And I was just thinking, I made a video because I was like, this is the difference in Hines and Rankin County. This road has reached the end of its life, and they're resurfacing it the right way, by the way, not just patching a couple potholes that it didn't even have, because that's the time frame they have it to be done, and the money's there, and they're doing it right because they run things right, and they do what they're supposed to do. When was the last time you saw a resurfacing project in Hines County or Jackson? I mean, I don't mean just patching a hole. I mean a legitimate resurfacing project. Other than Riverside Drive, which was a massive undertaking that they still managed to screw up, and it took forever, and they didn't pay the contractor right, had to pay $1 million in extra fees and interest or penalties or whatever. Like, when was the last time that a road legitimately got resurfaced before its lifespan was up? And it was so bombed out that they had to do it. Here we are over in Rankin County on, I wouldn't say a low traffic road. It's a busy road, but it's perfectly smooth. I mean, again, by Jackson's standards, which I know the standards are really low, that road could have lasted another 10 years before it needed to have anything done to it. And here they are resurfacing it. Some people can say it's a waste of money. I don't know. I think it's just, you have a schedule that you redo roads over a 10-year period or whatever. I've heard some mayors talk about how they do that. It's kind of interesting. They don't do that in Jackson. The Board of Supervisors in Hinds County, I don't think they do that. I cannot think of the last time I saw a crew paving a road in Jackson. Anyway, I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole, but it just goes to show that they don't do what they're supposed to do. Thalia Mara Hall being a great example here.
Are still shut at Thalia Mara Hall, and it's an ongoing effort from Jackson City leaders to get the Performing Arts Center back open as quickly and safely as possible.
That is determined to be a lie. Now, I'm not calling Courtney a liar. I'm just saying that the city is lying. They are not doing what they can to get this thing open as fast as possible.
3 on Your Side's Verlicia Gavin joins us now with some of your reactions to the building's conditions and the city's efforts.
That's right, Courtney. And the doors at Thalia Mara Hall have been closed for weeks now. You can actually see the cobwebs on the door handles. Now, soon they'll be changing this sign to canceled, and the future of the building is still unclear.
Comedian Kevin Hart is just one act that's been canceled since Thalia Mara Hall closed due to a mold outbreak on August 1st. Many residents were disappointed to hear the news, but they weren't surprised.
I wouldn't come either, but I love Jackson. It has a lot to offer, but, until things are ready, I say, Jackson has to do better.
The building was built in 1968. Some residents saying they understand that things break as they get older. They also say it's time to revamp the building as a whole.
You just need to upgrade. And Jackson as a whole needs to be upgraded, from the water to you name it. And just need a little facelift, that's all.
According to Jackson Mayor Chokwe and Tarlamumba, the city put in a request to lawmakers for funds to address repairs, but only recently received the money. However, they did not anticipate the HVAC system breaking down completely.
It wasn't not done for a lack of political will, right? What we find is that our needs exceed our means. And so when you're in a circumstance where your need exceeds your means, then you have to find what is the highest priority that has to be dealt with in that time.
Along with replacing the HVAC system, the city must also address plumbing issues, plus replacing and repairing the elevators. One resident who visits the Performing Arts Center frequently says he was stuck upstairs after the elevator failed back in October.
The problem there is we only have one elevator, and you can't get this wheelchair down the escalator, and you certainly can't get this wheelchair down like 25 stairs. So we were left with no choice but to call Jackson Fire Department to rescue me and my chair.
Crawford says not being able to go upstairs took away from his experience at the theater.
The mold is worse because now nobody can use our Performing Arts Center. And that's a disaster for the arts community.
Lumumba says the elevator service has been restored, but a new elevator is part of the renovation package.
All right, so they said that they got some money to do some stuff, but of course this whole HVAC problem came about, and they got a rather lengthy article. Kingfisher's got some stuff up on his website too, but they got a rather lengthy article here under this video on WLBT.com if you want to check it out. Again, the HVAC stuff came about after they got the money for this. It just feels like if you were doing your proper maintenance and you had things on a schedule and anybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing, all this seems so preventable. All of Jackson's problems, the water, I know what they blamed it on, but the fact is it was a lack of maintenance and staffing. So preventable. Obviously, the garbage contract was preventable. But so many of Jackson's catastrophic failures, or Chokwe's catastrophic failures, have just been from mismanagement and lack of proper maintenance. But they insist on letting things run all the way down to where somebody almost is forced, to where the state's almost forced to have to step in and fix it for them. I don't think any of this is an accident. I truly don't. But I also don't want to give them credit and suggest they're smart enough to strategize and use this plan, use this strategy. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, did they just sit back and said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to poke our bottom lip out. We're not going to do anything. We're going to poke our bottom lips out. We're going to look mad. And we're going to scream racism, no matter how much of it's our fault, until we get it done. And that appears to be their strategy. And it shouldn't work. Yeah, I understand that the federal government had to step in and get the water going. I get it. But there's a part of me that just says, you know what? At some point, you got to let these folks deal with the consequences and repercussions of their own actions. Because if you keep bailing them out, they're just going to keep doing this. And I think that's what they're doing with Thalia Mara Hall here. I don't think there's ever going to be another event in Thalia Mara. I want to go on record as saying that. Whatever timeline they've put forward here, none of that. Unless they somehow find the money for the HVAC, which I can't imagine that they're going to do. Unless they're able to get some kind of bond or something like that. I can't imagine they're going to find it in any timely manner. And if you're waiting to get it from the legislature, I'm assuming that you got to wait to the next session in January, and then however long it takes after that to get the budget money. Now, look, I'd be lying if I said I knew otherwise, and maybe Kingfish is listening or somebody who knows better. Is there a way to get emergency money from the state for stuff like this without having to wait? I don't know. I've never done it. But in my opinion, I think you've attended your last event there until there's a new administration in control, until the Free the Land caucus has been done away with. And look, I still don't know how big of a priority Thalia Mara Hall is going to be for our next administration with all of the other pressing issues sitting in front of Jackson. I know I've been beating this dead horse, but I think this really makes sense. Well, two things here. I don't think it's an importance, and I've talked to other people off the record about this that agree with me. I don't know if they want me to attach their names to this, so I won't. But I'm just going to be honest here. Overwhelmingly, Jackson's 90% black. The performing arts of this nature, ballet, symphony, Broadway, that is just your key demographic is not urban black. Let's just be honest. None of those things jump out as being culturally significant to urban blacks. And on the flip side, they're not culturally significant to Rankin County rednecks either. And I fall in that category nowadays. It's not my thing. But I respect them, and I understand the importance of the performing arts, whether I want to go watch a Broadway symphony show, ballet or not. I understand that there's people that do. So I don't think that it's a high priority for the Free the Land caucus to get this done. Now, if this had was more culturally significant to urban black folks and the urban black culture, what I'm trying to say, I think you would see it as a higher priority. But it's kind of seen as a rich white people's entertainment. And I don't think that they necessarily care about that. Jackson has strange dynamics, doesn't it? You have 90% urban black, and then you have, 8 to 10%, real numbers, 8 to 10% kind of liberal whites for the most part that are into that kind of stuff. And the liberal whites are constantly apologizing for the urban blacks and not holding them accountable for the things that have happened to the city under their watch. And here they are again, something they enjoy doing, being the sacrificial lamb here because the city has found a way to screw it up. And like I've been saying, you keep running out of reasons for people to have to come to Jackson. We got fine dining in the counties now. We've got entertainment in the counties now. We've had movie theaters for a long time. We had the bowling alleys. Now, I know Jackson's got that one-screen cinema and got that little bowling alley there in Fondren. Great investment. I think it's cool. But, it's not the biggest. It is what it is. I don't have to come to Jackson to do it is my point. The only thing left I have to come to Jackson for is drive through it to come do this radio show in another county. And that's it. Brandon's got City Hall Live. Big 3,000 capacity venue. It doesn't have theater seating, but it can handle a ton of the shows that were once going to Thalia Mara Hall that don't require, so there's some production requirements Thalia Mara is built for that you just can't replicate anywhere. But I could see Madison maybe teaming up with Holmes Community College and building a big performing arts center that could rival Thalia Mara. I don't think Madison needs to waste money building an amphitheater. That's already happened. But if the city of Madison County, whatever, wanted to get into the venue business, I think a Thalia Mara type theater would be a good business decision. And you could just go ahead and cut the jugular on Jackson, and you would never need to go there again for anything that you can't already get in the surrounding areas. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We're live here on WYAB. This segment brought to you by our friends over at Mazda of Jackson. Hey, the deals are hot as summer's winding down at Mazda of Jackson. You already know that. Mazda is one of the top 5 most dependable car brands out there. And Mazda of Jackson on I-55 Frontage Road has hundreds of new and used cars available. How about the brand new CX-5 crossover? It's rated a 9 out of 10 by Car and Driver. The CX-30 and the CX-90 SUVs are both rated 9.5 out of 10. And they're both in stock now at Mazda of Jackson. Hey, Mazdas also include a lifetime powertrain warranty. And be sure to ask about Mazda of Jackson's special financing deals going on right now. It's time to choose Mazda. Mazda of Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road, of course, in Jackson, and online at MazdaofJackson.com. Guys, get by there and check out that CX-90. If you're in the market for a new SUV, you want something luxury, and you've been looking at some Tahoes and some of these bigger SUVs, I implore you to go, or maybe the larger mid-sized crossovers. I highly recommend get by and checking out the CX-90 before you pull the trigger on any others. And I think you're going to be really, really surprised at this thing. Mazda, not that Mazda's ever been like a also-ran type brand, but maybe you never associated them with luxury. Get by there and check out the CX-90. I think you're going to be shocked at just how nice this thing is, how well it drives. It's got that. I love the way the leather feels in these things. I'm simple. How does the leather feel? That's the real closer for me. Man, it's got that nice leather in those CX-90s. Get by and check it out today. Go see my buddy Grady, see Richard, or one of the other great sales guys and girls there at Mazda Jackson, and know you're doing business with somebody local. The family that owns it sits right there on the sales desk, pencils every deal, and they give you their phone number after you buy a vehicle so you can reach out to them directly if you have any questions or concerns. You don't get that everywhere. I'm telling you, 13 years in the car business, I don't recall the owner giving his phone number out to customers at any of them. No knock at anybody I worked for. Everybody does business differently, but that really jumped off the page at me as an extra step that I haven't seen too many other dealerships take. So it can be the wild, wild west giving your phone number out to customers. All right, let's see here. I wanted to mention too, talking about venues. Pearl. I did a live stream yesterday, and I brought this up about the Clyde Muse Center in Pearl. They're doing events there. Obviously you have performing arts type events. They do concerts. You have the Gun and Knife Show, one of the big gun and knife shows that moved out of Jackson to Pearl. The Wildlife Extravaganza moved out of Jackson to Pearl. I'm telling you, they keep pushing these events and these people out, and there's not going to be anything left for them. I mean, rarely is there an event at that convention center that I can't find another version of in Rankin or Madison County. Well, particularly Rankin County. That seems to be where the convention centers and event space is mainly at right now. You've got that convention center over there at the Sheraton by the airport. It's just you're having less and less reasons to go to Jackson for anything. And most of it is self-inflicted stupidity on Jackson's part. Circling back to a couple things, a couple corrections. People are telling me that State Street is currently being repaved. Okay, finally, they're repaving that part of State Street there. I forgot about that. I was down there the other day and almost got T-boned by a city employee that just ran the red light. As absurdly as one red light could be ran. Anyway, right there at the corner of State and Capitol, almost T-boned me and then looked at me like I was in the wrong. But neither here nor there. I had just cut my dash cam off, too. I had just cut it off. I wish I'd kept it on. But I would have went my dash cam. I had my phone suction cupped to my windshield recording what I was doing, and I just took it down, the red light before. But anyhow, they are resurfacing State Street after, golly, I mean, how long did that take? How long past due before that got done? And Kingfish says they got $1.5 million from the state for Thalia Mara Hall. And I'm just saying that they also had a ticket fee, a service fee of sorts on tickets, a processing fee. What is it right here? This is dating back. It's a $5 fee, a surcharge on tickets. This is going back 10 years ago. That was supposed to go for like HVAC repair and maintenance and stuff. Where's that money? So I mean, I'm stuck on this. I have zero reasons to believe that they'll get this right. They're going to find a way to squander this and get it wrong. They don't do anything. Can somebody name a project that the city's been responsible for starting and finishing that's been finished right on time and without any penalties? I mean, I'm being serious. I know it just sounds like I'm just picking at them, just being the bad guy here. But is there a project that has been started, completed without any BS, and finished? I know completed and finished are the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Under their watch. I mean, everything that gets repaired gets pushed to the absolute limits of its lifespan, breaks, and then has to be repaired. You know, they don't do any preventive maintenance. I didn't mean to talk about Jackson and whatnot the whole first hour. I really wanted to get to some national stuff, the debates tonight. I'd like to talk about that some. But the Jackson stuff is just what grinds my gears the most. And we're going to talk about it when we get an opportunity to. Because I just keep thinking if I beat people upside the head enough, then maybe we can change a few minds. Let's take a break, come back, land the plane for hour one, and then we got a whole nother hour to go. I promise we'll get into some national stuff. We'll be right back. All right, we got about a minute before the top of the hour break here. Guys, don't forget, if you're going to be out on the roads tonight, WYAB is, in fact, carrying the debate live on the RADIO. That's right. So if you're going to be traveling, you want to stream it on WYAB.com. It won't be the video. It will just be the audio. But, hey, if you're traveling from one point to another, maybe you're heading out to Acme Pizza and Daiquiris for the big watch party over there, don't miss any of it. If you got to leave a little early because you got to get home and get in bed, like me, you can catch the end of the debate in the vehicle. So pretty good. We got Braves baseball, but it should be wrapping up right about the same time that the debate starts. They have an early pitch today. We do carry Braves, Atlanta Braves baseball. But, yeah, right after that, the debate will start around 8 o'clock, and we will be carrying it here live on WYAB. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Matt just came in here and told me, so pretty excited about that. And don't forget, me and Sean will be anchoring election night coverage November 5th. But, hey, we got a long time to go between then. See you shortly. Boom goes the dynamite. It's hour two of the most incendiary show on radio. This, my friends, is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards, live here on 103.9 FM, WYAB. Maybe you've seen me wearing my FAFO shirts on my internet videos. You too can have a FAFO shirt. F around, find out, like some of my internet haters are this morning. They want to be they want recognition. We give it to them here on the Clay Edwards Show. You can help support what I do, help support the movement, the cause. Go to buyfafo.com, grab a shirt, cap, tank top, or even a flag today, and help support what we do here. It'd be much appreciated. I throw a free bumper sticker in with every purchase, so if you buy anything, you get a free sticker with it. I was leaving Pearl yesterday. I went to the big press conference down there at Trustmark Park, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. I was on the phone with a buddy of mine getting on the interstate there, and somebody in a white Toyota 4Runner, a little level kit on it, some wheels and tires, looked really good. Was beside me at the red light and had a FAFO sticker, Clay Edwards Show sticker in the back window. I was like, you know what? I don't care how many of those stickers I've given away, how long I've been doing this. That's just cool because I don't know that person. At least I don't recognize their vehicle anyway. And they got my sticker on the back. I was like, you never do this long enough for that not to be cool. If you have gotten to the point that that's not cool, you need to reevaluate where you're at and what you're doing and become a little bit more appreciative for the people that support you, because that'll always be cool to me. So thank you for all y'all's support. Much appreciated. Thank you to the haters, too. Couldn't do this without y'all, especially y'all. Well, I don't know what I would talk about without y'all. So, hey, real quick, this segment brought to you by our friends at Martin's right out here at Livingston. Get out and enjoy a little bit of football at the all-new Martin's every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or every night there's a football game. It feels like there's football 7 days a week once it gets cranked up between high school, lower-level college, the big boys, the NFL, Monday night football, Thursday night football, Saturday, Sunday. You got it all. And you can go enjoy it at the all-new Martin's Livingston and, of course, downtown Jackson at the legendary OG location. Maybe you don't care to go enjoy the sports bar aspect. Get out there, grab some lunch or dinner at either of the great locations. They always got it going on. Friday night is ribeye steak night. They got the blue plate specials every day, every Monday through Friday there at Martin's. Of course, I'm going to say try the country fried steak. But I'm going to tell you another item that's really good on the menu is the ribeye gyro. Man, you can't go wrong with that thing either. It is fine. They do steak very well at Martin's. Don't underestimate how good the steak is at Martin's. The Calvin's famous steak bites. Man, you're sitting at the bar just having a good time, drinking a couple cold ones, hanging out with some friends, watching some football. You want something good, but you don't want to commit to a whole steak. I mean, they got those sirloin steak bites. Man, they are fine. A little horseradish dipping sauce. Want some for breakfast right now. But hey, speaking of breakfast, if you're out near Martin's in Livingston on the corner of Highway 16 and what's that, 463? I get all the highways confused around here. Martin's at Livingston. They got Martin's Market, a little full service gas station and market there, and they got fresh Southern style, made from scratch chicken biscuits available, and some other breakfast items too. Stop by, see them today. Let them know that Clay sent you. You could very well run into me at Martin's at any given time. So if you don't like me, want to punch me in the face, you hang out at Martin's long enough, you're going to have your chance. I promise. You'll catch me slipping at Martin's, especially the one in downtown Jackson. It's just a little closer logistically for me. But anyway, always enjoy Martin's. You can too. Let's see here. Speaking of downtown bars and restaurants, I want to hit something real quick. It appears, according to a report on Kingfish's website, unconfirmed, that the Daiquiri Bar has closed. At minimum, they've removed all the signage from outside the building, which would tell me that it's most likely closed after that mass shooting there a few weeks ago. And I mean, I'm guessing if you're the Mayflower and you just invested, what I've heard, upwards of $1 million in buying the intellectual property, renovating the building, getting it relaunched and all that to celebrate their 90th anniversary of being in business. If you're them, are you not doing cartwheels down Capitol Street right now at the thought of that facility across the street being closed after the mass shooting there? And just after years of terrible behavior from their clientele up and down Capitol Street, the hoodlums in Jackson like to ride over there on their four-wheelers and dirt bikes, and it's just carnage and chaos. Democrat carnage and chaos. So I know to see that gone. I mean, my buddy Rob and his wife, they lived in it was either the King Edward or Standard Life building right there. They couldn't take it no more. They moved out to Renaissance. Got them a nice, beautiful place out there. It's funny, like once you move from that, and it's, once you get inside like the King Edward and the Standard Life and you're in the buildings, oh man, the views are awesome. It's really neat. It's fun. They're built really cool. But then the second you step outside and it's Democrat carnage and chaos, Chokwe's carnage and chaos carnival, and you remove yourself from that and you get out to somewhere like Renaissance or where I'm at in downtown Brandon, and you're like, man, why did I fight this for so long? Why did I insist on swimming upstream for so long, with no quality of life, having to drive all the way to at least High Street, or if I want to safely do it, all the way to Rankin County just to go to a gas station. Again, all the way to Fortification Street if you want to hit a grocery store. Or, again, if you want to do it safely, all the way to Rankin County. Or, we'll say Fondren. I don't want to throw Fondren under the bus completely. They got that market over there that's safe, but it ain't cheap. Anyway, it ain't convenient to live downtown. You got to really want to live downtown. And then you get places like the Daiquiri Bar thrown on top of you and all that just Democrat death culture shenanigans. And it's a miserable experience. It takes an already difficult experience that you got to really want to be a part of, and it makes it 10 times harder when you have to deal with all that in the background. So congratulations to the business owners there on Capitol Street and the residents there on Capitol Street of getting a public nuisance gone. And I hate that because I actually know the owner of that place, and he's not a bad guy. He really isn't. His business partner got killed right before that thing opened, and I think he kind of got straddled with having to run it on top of his other establishments that he's a part of. So I want to be careful about rolling him completely under the bus because I don't think he intended on having to be the day-to-day operator of that facility. And then you get, he's an older dude. He's my age or a little older. And then you had to hire people to do it, and you're not down there hands-on like you need to be. And things happen. Nobody's going to take care of your business like you are. So anyway, another business that I've been fired up about this for a few days. Another business or two down there that need to have a serious long look at them. I may have talked about this on the show yesterday. I can't remember, but we're going to talk about it again now. Is the old Mexican restaurant there where Chip had fire right there on the corner of State and Tom Bigby. I don't know what's in that building now. I don't know if it's a Mexican restaurant or if it's a part of One Block East, that club over there on the side on Tom Bigby. But just that whole facility there is an absolute public nuisance. I'm working on a video. I've got a lot of footage of fights and chaos and shootings and people outside smoking dope on the property. And there's one recurring theme in all these videos is, it's all Chokwe voters, but there's another recurring theme is that the Capitol Police is heavily involved in being called down there a whole lot, which is draining valuable resources from the people that Capitol Police was actually put in place to protect. The actual businesses they were put in place to protect when they're having to go down there and basically play bar bouncer because their security can't do their job, or they're not hiring enough security, or they're promoting their venue to a demographic, age group wise, and on the thugometer, at least a 10 wise, that they can't act right in public. And it's not taxpayers' jobs to have to police these clubs. And I'm saying this as a former club owner who's seen the light, and I understand these things now. Now, of course, we all had our, you have a club long enough, you're going to have a ballroom brawl that's going to require more than your security to break it up. It's just a sad state of affairs, but people get drunk, they don't know how to act. It is what it is. But it ain't every weekend. And this appears to be on Monday nights there. I guess it's the Monday night spot based on these videos that I've stumbled across. I think it's time for ABC to take a good, long, hard look at their liquor license and some of the stuff they're allowing to go on down there. People outside the venue with their drinks. Is that covered under the resort status in that area now? They can just walk around down there they can walk right out with their liquor. They can smoke dope on the premises. I got a lot of questions. I do, because I think it's very well could be put on the public nuisance list and closed down, because what it does is you got that place there sandwiched in between those special event venues down there, the old Voodoo and Mardi Gras building, the train station depot, or the South Warehouse, those two buildings right there at the, you know what I'm talking about. They have all the big parties and weddings and stuff at them right across from Irby. And then one block up, you've got Martin's and Howlin' Miles. that by all accounts run their businesses properly. And you've got this absolute crap show sandwiched in between there that dozens of cops are having to be called to on a regular. I got video. If you believe the caption and what the people are saying in the background, a couple girls got to shooting at each other there on the side of 1 block east there on Tom Bigby. Again, just Chockway's carnival of chaos and carnage in downtown Jackson. It's time to seriously consider having their permits taken. And I never thought I'd be the guy sitting here rallying to have businesses shut down. But if you can't run your business right, and it's going to start negatively affecting the people who are running their businesses right, then you don't deserve to be in business. Just straight up. You do not deserve to be in business if you can't run your business right and it's negatively affecting the others. Because there's no way any decent folks are going to be coming downtown. They're going to take the Pearl Street exit. They're going to turn left. And the first thing they see is 800 Capitol Police, fire, and ambulances out in the middle of the road with people fighting and raising hell, and think to themselves, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to make it to Martin's or Howland Miles tonight. We're just going to turn this around. That's a little too close for me. Or we got to drive through that to get to that wedding venue down there where we're going to that big fundraiser. Honey, I don't want to do this tonight. I didn't know it was like this down here. It's bad for business. Jackson is its own worst enemy. I've said it before. I'll say it again. We always talk about, well, we don't anymore, but Jackson State, for example. Jackson State's greatest rivalry ain't Grambling. It's not Southern. It's not whatever that other school that they always play is. I can't think of all the HBCUs in state. It doesn't matter. But it's Jackson. Jackson is JSU's greatest rivalry. Because Jackson does all it can to cut JSU and the rest of Jackson's feet out from under it. Let's take a call on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, you're on there.
Clay, this is Clay.
Yes, Master D, this is Clay.
Clay, you need to understand that criminality is big business here in Jackson and surrounding areas. I mean, we've been trumping on this topic for the last 30, 40 years. You got to understand that the lawyers here, they can't take certain cases because of tort reform. So they make their money on drugs, gang banging, violence. And it's just like, it's an agenda that, most politicians, they love it, but they can't come to an agreement how to solve it. I think if you want to see a change in Jackson, why don't they go back to where it used to be, where every student in Jackson Public School need to be in a $50,000 or more life insurance policy. And then you'll see these people that own these insurance companies do their job, and they'll start funding the police, and you won't have all this problem. I mean, America is just big business. And, for you to get on the show day after day talking about crime, you need to take a look beyond the surface. This is just big business, because most of your laws are involved in drug activity and everything else. I mean, if nobody commit a murder, they wouldn't have a job. Nobody sell drugs, they wouldn't have a job. And you just got to understand, politicians all in this stuff and everybody else, man. It's just America. America is just a corrupt country, and it's just they teach other people that other countries are bad, and you ain't even never lived there. Like Russia. Russia don't tolerate homelessness, people laying all out in the street looking like damn fools and idiots and crackheads. Come on, man. Just like Donald Trump say, you better learn how to get along and stop all this fooling about we this and we that. Man, we are human beings. Thank you, and have a good day.
Amen. Well, yeah, look, he's 90% right. He's 90% right. Here's the problem. This stuff is not happening in the surrounding areas. I mean, if we're talking about Rankin and Madison County, because they allow their police to, police. It's accountability. I talked about this on my live stream, and I know I've been beating this up a lot. I've been a bit of a broken record here lately, but I'm just fired up about a couple little things that I can't quite get over the hump on. Out there in the counties or in the suburbs, we handle our Pookies different. And Pookie is a catch-all for white and black trash. So don't think I'm talking about, I know every time I say something like that, black folks think I'm just talking about black folks. I'm not, I'm talking about white folks too. We handle our Pookies different. We don't make excuses for our Pookie's bad behavior and say, oh, you got to be, oh, Pookie, man, he was raised in poverty. Don't be so hard on Pookie. He was raised hard times. His daddy wasn't there. Mama was on drugs, whatever. That's not an excuse for immorality. If Pookie goes and gets his butt whooped by the police in Rankin County, we ain't down there protesting that Pookie effed around and found out. If nothing else, we're cheering the cops on. Whoop Pookie's ass. And in Jackson, it's the inverse. And in other urban black communities, it's the inverse. Y'all don't like Pookie either. But you let something happen to Pookie, and you all run out there, burn it down for Pookie, protest for Pookie. Pookie was raised different. I'm my brother's keeper. We're not. And that's why our communities run way more efficiently, apparently. We self-police. And they quit doing that in Jackson. Y'all quit self-policing. You've let this strange culture, I don't like calling it black culture, but y'all are the ones that have bought into it. You let this strange demonic culture take over, that there's this all cops are bastards culture, and that you can't snitch, you defend everybody that's wrong. At your own detriment. We don't do that in our communities, and that's why our communities don't have the problems that Jackson does. Because we hold people accountable. I mean, yeah, every now and then you get a goon squad, and that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. People still know, don't come over there playing around. You will indeed find out. Other than what the Capitol Police are doing, people don't fear Jackson. People don't fear law enforcement in Jackson. People don't fear Jacksonians. They know, let me rephrase that. They fear getting shot by them, but that they don't fear them holding them accountable. They ain't worried about their neighbor holding them accountable. They just know they can get away with whatever they want, and nobody's going to say anything. We got to take a break. I ran over big time here. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We're live here on WYAB. Don't forget, tonight, Acme Pizza and Daiquiris is the big debate watch party. Get out there and enjoy some great pizza, pasta, appetizers, and more at Acme Pizza and Daiquiris. Fan and Mart on the Reservoir. They open at 4 p.m., so if you want to get there early, enjoy some food. The debate starts at 8, I believe. Going to be a good old crew of folks out there watching it, like-minded individuals. I know Chip Matthews, Andrew Gasser, Jameson Haygood, I believe, is going to be there. I don't want to commit Kim. I want to say they told me Kim, but anyway, going to be a good crew of folks. If go meet yourselves, introduce yourselves to one another. Going to be a good time. Always good to meet like-minded individuals and be able to put names to faces and have a good time. Hey, look, if you're going to be out, speaking of pizza, if you're going to be out in the Gluckstadt area and you're looking for a good, affordable pizza for lunch, how about Johnny's Pizza House, located right there in front of the Mack Height dealerships there in Gluckstadt. They've got pizza specials starting as low as $5.99 for personal pizzas for lunch. And, of course, you can go on up to the large sizes and get as much as you want. They got muffalettas. There's a little taste of New Orleans, man, a little taste of Louisiana, should I say. Johnny's Pizza House. Man, $5.99 for a little personal pizza and a drink. You can't beat that. Or maybe it's $6.99. Anyway, it's affordable. Get over there, try it today. Johnny's Pizza House, always available for delivery, carry out, and of course dine in. Great food, man. We did my birthday weekend out that way. Stayed at a friend's house in Gluckstadt, and we got some Johnny's pizza that next day. It absorbed up all the day before's festivities. Then I went right back to sleep. But yeah, it was really good pizza, really good. The crust is great. All right, let's go to the Guns and Gear text line here and read a few texts. I wish that number is 769-241-1944, by the way. Debbie asks, let's circling back to Thalia Mara Hall. She says, is it the city that needs to be held accountable? There's a problem, and it's all just like you were saying because it's basically white use facility. But even some rednecks like me from Rankin County enjoyed going to a lot of plays and performances. Thalia Mara Mother Mary needs to be able to what are you saying there? Thalia Mara Mother Mary needs to be able to needs to maybe build a Thalia Mara in Madison is what you're trying to say. Anyway, she goes, so you're saying that here's the part I was trying to read. She was asking if the contractor who did the HVAC system in the theater would not be held accountable. Like, well, why would they be held accountable? The city allegedly quit paying them. That's the problem. The city quit paying the HVAC contractor, just randomly quit sending checks, is my understanding, being reported by multiple outlets. So I don't know how you can hold the contractor accountable. I want my money. And that's been a recurring theme with the city of Jackson. The construction company, the asphalt company that was doing Riverside Drive, they just quit paying them. Well, they quit working. That's how this works. We don't owe it to you to continue doing work for free. It's not a public service. It's not a charity. You want stuff done, you pay for it. I goofed up really bad earlier on where Martins and Livingston was located. I think I said Highway 416 and 463. It's Highway 22 and 463. Thank you for the correction there, my friend. Joe says, saw the clip on Rankin County roads yesterday. They by far do really well compared to Hinds County. One of the ones that could use some work, though, is Holly Bush between 25 and 43. He also says more than allowing police to police Rankin and Madison counties allow their prosecutors to prosecute. That is a great point. They do. They allow their prosecutors to prosecute. But I'm going to tell you, don't think George Soros ain't trying his ever-loving best to get a filthy Jody Owens type DA there in Madison County and Rankin County. They would love to unseat Bubba Bramlett and get a corrupt, pro-criminal, anti-Second Amendment DA up there. And, man, if that ever happens, burn the ships. Burn the ships. You don't be worried about Kamala Harris or Donald Trump as president. If they ever get one of these crooked George Soros Democrat DAs in Hinds or in Rankin and Madison County, and don't think they're not trying. I mean, that's what Delbert Hoseman was doing, trying to split them up. Trying to lay the groundwork for one of these Soros DAs. Make no mistake about it. That's the only thing. That criminal justice system there is the only thing that's holding that whole thing together. Is people know that if they F around, they find out. Because you're going to arrest somebody 1,000,000 times. If you can't keep them in jail, it's all cannon fodder. Let's see here. Debbie said, sorry, Madison needs to build another event hall like Thalia Mara. Yeah, that's what I was saying yesterday. Rankin says, I don't know what that means. Unknown texter says, I think this is going back to my comment about that you're slowly running out of any reason to come to Jackson that you can't do in another city. He says the Trail of Honor was voted one of the top 10 events in the South. Since Lumumba has been in office, he never promoted it because it wasn't his people's Attendance dropped, and now it is no more. for that and other reasons. The point is Lumumba never promoted the event that brought thousands to Jackson every year. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's Lumumba. Of course, he should have promoted it. I don't think it's Lumumba not promoting it why it doesn't come to why people quit going. People quit going because it was there at Cooper Road, at Daniel Lake, in one of the deadliest, most dangerous parts of Jackson, and people just say, "Man, I don't want a memorial here built on my behalf." People are legitimately scared of Jackson, and in particular, anything in South Jackson. I thought the Trail of Honor was a phenomenal deal, but assuming we're talking, that's the same thing. I think we're talking about. They did it there in front of the Harley shop right there where they landed the Black Hawk helicopter and all that right there in the grass by the interstate. That's the Trail of Honor, isn't it? Assuming I'm talking about the same thing. Yep, and people quit going because people don't feel safe. Yes, the mayor should have promoted it and done what he could to make people feel safe, but I think you could have lined every JPD, MHP, and a Hinds County deputy all up and down every road there, and I don't think people would have felt any safer. Jackson's got a huge problem when it comes to perception, because perception is reality in South Jackson. It is an absolute free-range prison over there, like Escape from New York, third world hellhole. And I'm probably underselling that, because I think people think that haven't been through. If you haven't been to South Jackson lately and rode around, man, don't. I buttered my bread with this whole Save Jackson thing, riding around there, filming videos and taking pictures. I wouldn't do it again. I would not do it again. Post 2020 and what they allowed to happen to Jackson, and in particular South Jackson, ain't no way. Lord willing and the creek don't rise, my vehicle will never take the McDowell Road exit again. It will never take the Savannah Street exit again, and it will never take the Daniel Lake exit again, much less go into those areas. There's nothing over there for me. Nothing. Let's see here. Anna says, the mayor should be embarrassed. What happened to the Simmons money again? Until the city can pay on time, nothing will ever be done. Spartacus, from South Jacksonian to Rankin County redneck. Hey, look, man, we evolve, right? Somebody said, what about the planetarium? I know it's being worked on. We'll see if it actually gets finished, right? And that was all that was done through a ton of money that had to be raised, kind of like the Friends of the Zoo, like the Friends of the Planetarium. Gosh, we hadn't even talked about the zoo. Let's take a break. We'll come back, and we'll talk about maybe that and a little bit of, I'd like to get y'all's thoughts on the debate tonight. What do y'all think is going to happen? We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. This segment brought to you by our friends over at A1 Gear and Auto. Guys, if you're heading south down 49, they're going to be right there on your right. As soon as you get through, as soon as you get into Florence, right as you cross into the city limits, dang there. Big white building, big red sign, but hey, look, where they're at is not necessarily important. You'll find them when you need them. What is important is why you may need them. Automotive repair. And that, man, they got you covered, whether it's your gears, your ring and pinion. That's what they specialize in. That's where how they buttered their bread, is being the best in the market at working on your gears, your ring and pinion, your front end, your rear end, making sure your vehicle gets the power it needs to the wheels to make it go down the road. Man, you may not have ever had ring and pinion issues. When you do, they're undeniable. And what Justin's really great at is, man, maybe you got a noise or you feel something a little funky going on, like you know something ain't quite right. Let him take it down there and let him diagnose it. He's going to get it. He's going to drive it himself. Justin's the owner. He's going to drive the vehicle himself. He's going to get it diagnosed. And, man, look, he's batting 1,000, but getting it right the first time with all the business I've sent down there, of my personal vehicles, friends and family's vehicles, etc. Not yet has he fixed something and it not fixed it. And, man, you talk about saving time and money, getting that done right the first time, that's a big deal. The other thing, it's always going to be finished when he says it's going to be finished, unless something crazy happens your part doesn't make it in time for whatever reason. They send the wrong part. I mean, accidents happen, don't get me wrong, but haven't had that happen yet, thankfully. Got me back on the road every time, on time. Saved me as much money as possible. But, hey, time is money. And getting it done right the first time is worth whatever extra you have to spend to do it. A1 Gear and Auto. They work on everything from your diagnosing your check engine light, rebuilding your front ends, and everything else. The only thing they don't do is diesel engine repair, but they will refer you to somebody who can. All right, let's talk about tonight's debate just a little bit here to kind of close out the show. It's kind of hard to talk about a debate that hadn't happened yet. I mean, you can sit here and you can predict, you can talk about it, you can play all these what ifs. I don't really like doing that. I mean, it's going to be terrible. They're going to rig it the best they can to make Kamala look good. They're going to try to make Trump look bad because, see, last time they let Trump be Trump. And the rules actually end up playing into his favor a little bit. They wanted to get rid of Biden. They don't want to get rid of Kamala. They need Kamala to win. So it's going to be all systems go. Torpedoes all pointed right at Trump. They're going to make it as difficult as possible for Trump. All of your post-debate reaction stuff is going to be how good Kamala did. They're going to gaslight. And that's how they're going to do it. But Magnolia Tribune, Russ Latino's got a good piece up. And he just says 5 things to look for at tonight's presidential debate. I'm not going to get lost in the weeds here, but number 1 is Biden's shadow. Says conventional wisdom is that the presidential debates do very little to move the needle, but if June's debate between Trump and Biden was any indication, a true disastrous debate performance can be fatal. I think Trump needs to do all he can to lump Kamala or to associate Kamala with Biden's disastrous record. Again, y'all can go check this all out at Magnolia Tribune. Number 2, and he's got some well-written stuff in between each one of these, by the way. I'm just kind of giving you the cliff notes here. Number 2, competing for the middle. Says both candidates have bases that are shored up. The race for the White House will be won in just a handful of states by just a handful of people. Recent polling in the battleground states of Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania show razor-thin margins separating the 2 candidates. Heading into tonight's debate, the fine line Trump and Harris will walk is between giving their bases red meat while attempting to appeal to skeptical voters. For Trump, this likely looks like trying to moderate tone and speak to the kitchen table issues Americans are struggling with right now. For Harris, who previously supported a wide range of far-left policy positions, it likely means packaging herself as a more pragmatic moderate. I think that's probably the most important thing in here, right? If you're going to play this game, that there's a few undecided people, which I just have a hard time. What kind of psychopath is undecided in this thing? I mean, do you enjoy far left policies that have gotten us into this nonsense, or do you want America first policies that get us out? I don't know where the middle at. I wish all those people would move to one state and let's take their voting rights away if you're that undecided. Number 3, faltering momentum. Talk about faltering momentum. Vice President Harris was forced to drop out of the 2020 White House race before the Iowa primary because she became the nominee for the Democrat Party after the 2024 primaries were completed in Biden's favor, meaning she has never won a single state's primary. I think that she made a terrible decision with her vice president. I think it has killed a lot of her momentum. I'm just saying this as a solid Trump supporter. I'd be way more worried if she had let Josh Shapiro be the VP. I have no fear in Tim Walz swinging an election one way or another at all. As a matter of fact, I love the Tim Walz pick. It's been great for us on our side, giving us lots of great content. Number 4, it's going to be staying on the issues because Trump's going to try to discuss inflation and border and foreign conflicts. Harris will attempt to affix blame for the economy to Trump-era policies, making the dubious case that the Biden administration has overseen an economic recovery. That's going to be interesting to watch that, How does she somehow justify the Biden admin policies for the last 4 years being such a failure? Bidenomics, complete failure. And number 5, the last thing he has pointed out here is the biggest threat to democracy. Kamala Harris was a prosecutor in a former life. Trump has faced considerable legal scrutiny in the lead up to the election, including conviction on 34 counts of falsifying business records. Will Harris prosecute the former president on stage by accusing him of criminal activity? How will January 6th factor in? To date, legal efforts to derail Trump have only galvanized his supporters, but might they work on that small fraction of voters who will decide the election? A common theme in attacks on Trump to date has been that he represents a threat to democracy. Can Trump rebuff those attacks and make the case that Harris represents a bigger threat? It's going to be interesting because, the right is all about law and order. And they love to play this game of, but Trump's a 34-time convicted felon, and all those cops that didn't get killed at January 6th, by the way, they keep purporting that lie, that cops were killed and assaulted by Jan 6ers. No, there was cops, the few that were assaulted by Democrats pretending to be Trump supporters. Y'all can stop with the nonsense. Trump supporters respect police officers. Quit with that lie. They all that set up to try to make Trump look bad, and so they can somehow in this weird world pretend that the Democrats are about law and order, and if you vote for Trump, you're not about law and order because he's got 34 felonies, which technically he does not have yet, because you're not a felon until you've been sentenced, and he will not be sentenced until after the election. Let's take our last break. We'll be right back. Breaking rules when necessary. Look, man, I didn't mean to spend the whole show today talking about Jackson. I truly didn't. But again, I get on these tears where it just devours my brain. And we're going to. I told y'all, I started this whole Save Jackson thing. It was to see it through to the end. The end is two things. Locally, it's getting Chokwe Antar Lumumba locked up and out of Jackson. And it's to show you all, and if it ain't locked up, it's kicked out of office by you, the voters. And I feel like we're closer than ever to accomplishing that. Maybe both. We may get to fire him and watch him go to jail simultaneously. So until that mission is complete, I really can't see anything else. But hey, we are also actively pulling for Trump in the background. Chip's next. See you tomorrow.